Hello, hope you're well. Today I am going to be going through my jewellery photography setup and how I take the small product photos, why I'm taking the photos that I'm taking, and to give you some tips and techniques for the setup so that you can do your own small product or jewellery photography from home. Visuals are so important for your small business so that you can sell your work effectively, so that people can get a really good feel for what your products are like, the sizing of them, any details in them, how they might use them in their particular life. So it's so important that you get really good visuals, and you don't have to necessarily hire a product photographer, but you can obviously if you want to. But if you want to do some at home and to be able to take good photos that you can use quickly, then I'm going to show you how I go about it. Now I have my main product photography camera is this one, which is a very old Canon EOS 5D. It's an old one, so you can probably pick these up on eBay relatively cheaply. And the lens that I have on is a 100mm macro lens. Because I've got small products, I want to be able to get really close to them as well. So that is the main camera that I'm using. The camera that I'm videoing this on is the ZV-E10 Mark II. So I'm just filming this so you can see what it looks like. It's what I do all my at the bench shots on, because the Canon is quite big. I can't use that on my desk, on my workbench. But with this small camera, I can put it above my workspace. So if I'm doing work in progress shots or want to do small short films, this is a perfect camera for doing that. I will do another video all about this another time, but just so you can see what's going on. The other thing that I think is vital for product photography is a tripod. So using a tripod means that you can capture you can move your work without and have your camera fixed, so you're not moving it around all the time. So that's another vital piece. So let's set up some pieces and I'll talk you through what I'm doing. Jewellery photography is notoriously difficult to do. You have small objects, reflective surfaces, and the lighting plays a huge part in it. So to make things easier, I shoot the majority of my shots using natural light. The types of shots that I'm going to take today are close-ups, which can be used on a website or social media. So close-ups of the main piece from different angles as well, showing any details that are there. I'm also going to do a lifestyle shot. So if you're not using a model, which obviously we're not at home, so for the lifestyle shots from that, I will use props as well, which I'll go through in a moment. I'm just in a room in my house. It's got big windows, so it's got lovely natural light. So the setup to these photographs, I want to create a kind of light and airy feel, and then I'm going to play around with the lighting, see if we can get any reflections coming in and any shadows. I think when you're using natural light, it's really nice to be able to play with that light as well and embrace some of those reflections, embrace the shadows as well. So we're going to play around with that as well today. Having a piece of white foam board is really useful just to create that solid backdrop. You're not going to see that it's a piece of white foam board, but it's just going to give you a solid background. Now you can use any colour card you want. I've got a collection of different colours for backdrops, but I tend to use white. This is just on a coffee table, so I'm just trying to show you how easy it is to set up a little kind of home photography studio for your small pieces of work. So I use these clips, I'm not sure what they're called, grip clips that we have, because you can put them to the bottom edge of a piece of card, a piece of paper, and rest it on the table. And this is a big piece of card, so it probably won't stand up. But you can put this on there and it will stand the paper up. So that's my main backdrop. The other thing are pieces of, this is, it's not watercolor paper, but it's a slight textured art paper. So that is the main backdrop. And then I've created that edge. Sometimes if I'm doing a quick shot at my workbench, I will just have an A4 watercolor pad, and it's the same effect. Today I'm going to be photographing these two engagement rings samples. They are very small, so I'm actually going to take this down and use a smaller setup. Because today I am just photographing some very small rings, and this coffee table is quite low, I'm actually going to do a slightly different setup. So I've just got a camping table just to raise the height so it's easier for me to work, and exactly the same setup. I'm going to use the clips to stand that up. It's just a nicer height for me to work at and makes it easier talking to you as I'm filming. So that's the setup that we've got today. So I'm going to pull you in and show you close up what I'm doing. So the pieces that I'm going to photograph today are these two small rings. I don't think you can see those clearly. These are pieces that I've had for a while, but I just want to add them to my website so that I can start selling this. So these are the two pieces I'm going to photograph. So they're quite small pieces. So on this side, I want to put another reflector in here as well. So this is again just another piece of card, and I'm just going to use another clip to clip that in place there. And that will help stand up. Other things you can use as reflectors are also just bits of foil, and it will just bring a bit more light into this area. So it's just bouncing any light coming in there into this little space. So I'm going to take a few close-up shots just to get all the details. I do a manual focus on the lens because I find that if you use automatic focus with jewellery, it tends to catch on something other than the detail that you actually want. As you can see, by adding the foil, we can create some interesting shadows and detail on there. So I'm just bouncing the light around really. So I'll just take it from lots of different angles just so that I have them for future. So now that I've done the close-up shots, I want to do a few lifestyle shots. Now I have a particular process for this. I keep it quite simple and tend to just use the ring box or a bit of my packaging. So if you've got branded packaging that you want to use, this is a really good way to do a simple lifestyle shot when you haven't got models that you can use. The other thing that I want to bring in is I've got a candle and this is a planner. So I'm keeping the colour tones quite simple, quite neutral. I don't want it over cluttered. I want the ring to be the main focus. So I'm going to do a few without the box, and then I'm going to introduce the box as well. So I'll show you those, we'll go through those ones. Now I've taken the camera off the tripod just so I've got a bit more movement and I can take it from different angles. And I just want those details, those little props, just to give a bit of interest to the background. I don't actually want to see too much of them. Now because I'm hand holding, I'm going to have quite a high shutter speed on this. Now take it at different angles because then you've got portrait and landscape shots, then you've got shots you can use in social media as well. But remember to keep the main focus of the shot is going to be the product. So in this case it's the ring. So I don't want that to get lost. It's so small that I just need these tiny little elements in the background just to give it a bit of interest, but not actually to distract from the photo itself, from the product itself. And again, I'm manually focusing because otherwise it's going to try and focus on some of the props because the piece is so small. So whenever you're doing jewellery photographs, I would say always use manual focus because so I'm introducing a few other elements now just to give some layering to the picture. When you're deciding what props to use, how you want your pictures to look, create a Pinterest board or something similar where you can collate images that you like, whether that's images from other photographers, from other jewellery photography, whether it's from wedding photography. Quite often wedding photographers will be taking cufflinks or engagement rings and wedding rings. So they will have shots, and you might get inspiration from their styling and their colours, and particularly from the lifestyle point of view, and just start taking note of what it is that you like and why you like it, what's making that picture be a good picture for you, what's drawing you in, and then gradually you'll be able to recreate that as well. So we're just playing around, doing different shots, lots of different shots, moving the camera so that you've got a good selection to work from. I'm also going to take, so I'm now going to put the ring in the box so I can get some top-down shots as well. So what I'm finding is the candle is a little distracting. It's actually, when I'm doing top-down, it's actually higher than the ring, which is a little off-putting. So I might take that out and just keep it really simple. So we've got a bit of layering, we've got the ring, the box, the book, and it's just creating different angles for me. So even in kind of pretty rubbish light today, we've been able to take a few lifestyle shots, which will work really well. So key things to take away: don't over clutter with hundreds of different props. 2 or 3, absolutely fine. Make sure that the product is the centerpiece. Create depth of field in your work as well, in your image as well. So you want to have a relatively small aperture, so you've got a bit of blur as it goes back in through the picture. So once you've got your product shots, you'll be doing a very small amount of editing. And I say very small amount because it's so much easier to edit if you've taken reasonably good shots to start with. So the main editing steps that you want to take, there's really only 5 of them that I do. Firstly, I will crop the image to how I want it to be. I'll tweak the exposure, contrast, the temperature. So color temperature, if the colour temperature is cooler, if it's too orangey, if it comes out too yellow, you can cool the photo down with the colour temperature option, and that will just bring out more of the blues, take away some of that orangey yellowy colour. And likewise the reverse, if you find it's too cold, feels too cold, too bluey, then you can put in, raise the colour temperature and put in some more warmth into that photo as well. So those are really the main things that I do, and I'll add sharpness as well if I need to. So those are the main things that I do with editing my photos. I don't want to do much more than that. If you start off with a good setup, make sure there's no dust or bits of fluff anywhere. You'll be doing a minimal amount of touching up once you've taken the photo. So it's just those few settings, a few little tweaks that you're going to be doing with the photos that you've taken them, and then you're sizing the pictures for how you want to use them. If you found this video useful, please do subscribe, leave me a comment. It's very much appreciated. If you've stayed this long into the video, thank you very, very much. It is so much appreciated. So please do hit subscribe and drop me a comment as well if you have any questions or just want to get in touch. It's so important to be able to take some kind of product shots yourselves, even if in the long run you think, I am going to have a product photographer do this for me. Being able to take good product photos on the fly is so important. So a simple setup, it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. A simple setup can elevate your work and elevate how you're showing your products and how you're showing the work that you do, so much more than not being able to do it at all. But it is about practice. It's about honing in your style, what you want, take note of photos and images that you like, start to identify what it is about images that you particularly like. Think about the light more as well as you're taking photographs. Really take time to think about how the light is moving around your space, and just experiment. There's nothing bad that can happen with taking photos. We all have digital cameras now. We're not spending money on developing and processing our images. So just play around, practice and practice, and you will soon start to hone in your style, hone in what works and what doesn't work. Some images just won't look right. The light will be off, the image will be off. But then there'll be others which will be absolutely perfect. So play around, don't be afraid to get it wrong, You won't get it wrong, it's just practice, it's just learning your photography skill. But it's so important to be able to capture those product images of your work as well. If taking your product shot still feels a little bit daunting for you, then I have a very short course, which I think you will love. It's Product Photo Weekender, and it's really down to the basics of building your confidence in your setup, your camera settings, simple editing processes, so that you can start to get to grips with product photography just over a couple of hours over the weekend. So do check that out as well. All the links for that are in the description below. Thanks again for watching, take care, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye for now.